Hey, shalom everyone, this is Chris Shoemaker, also known as Yehuda Ben Shomer, and you're watching the Ponderings of the Perkei Avot. Today we are in chapter 4, verse 7, which reads, Rabbi Zadok would say, do not separate yourself from the community. Do not act as a counselor law, or in otherwise, don't act as a judge. When serving as judge, don't act like a counselor at law is basically what it means. Do not make the Torah a crown to magnify yourself with, or a spade with which to dig. So would Hillel say, one who make personal use of the crown of Torah shall perish. Hence, one who benefits himself from the words of Torah removes his life from the world to come. So basically, this passage in the Perkei Avot is dealing with the issue of humility. No matter how much power, no matter how much prestige, no matter how rich or how great your reputation gets or is, we need to stay humble. Remember your roots. Remember where you came from. Remember that you're worm food, as we learned in other Perkei Avots. Remember that your fate is just like everybody else's fate. You bleed red blood. You put your pants on the same way everybody else does. And, your flatulence stinks like everybody else too. So humility is the key to greatness. Motive will determine if you get there or not. Okay, Matthew 19:30 says, and these are the words of Yeshua, but many that are first shall be last, and the last shall be first. When you put others before yourself, that is showing humility, So you're going to be bumped to the front of the line when you put others before yourself because you are humble. People will notice that and take notice. Matthew 20:16 says, so the last shall be first, and the first shall be last. For many be called, but few chosen. Mark 9:35 says, and he sat down, and he called the 12, and said unto them, if any man desire to be first, the same shall be last of all, and servant of all. Yeshua himself, when he sat down at the last Passover Seder he had on this earth, he got down on his hands and knees, and he humbled himself, and he became a servant to his disciples, and he did the job of a servant. He washed their feet. Some of the disciples protested, you're too great for this. We don't deserve this. I'm not going to let you wash my feet. But he says, if I don't do this, you have no part of me. He says, don't you get what I'm doing? Don't you understand? Don't you see what I'm doing and the object lesson that I'm displaying? If you want to be great, and if you want to be a leader, you've got first to be a servant. You've got to be a servant before you can be a leader. He says, I didn't come here to be served, but I came to serve. He is God in the flesh. He is the divine Messiah, the Son of God. He didn't come to be served, even though he rightly deserves to be served, but he came to serve other people, right? So one of the keys to Yeshua's success was that he was a servant leader. He led by example, and no task was beneath him. John 13:4-5 says, and this is what I was just talking about, he rised from supper and laid aside his garments, took a towel and girded himself. After that, he poured water into a basin, and he began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with the towel wherewith he girded himself. So who are the great people in history? They were the ones who were selfless and didn't use their power or religion to achieve greatness. They were known more so for their love and for them being a champion of the people. I think of Gandhi. I think of Mother Teresa and others who were all about the people. And admit tingingly, these figures attributed Yeshua the Messiah as one of their main influences and examples. So Yeshua was one of the greatest examples of servant leadership, and he did influence in a positive way Gandhi and Mother Teresa and others. I also think about what is said. Don't make the Torah a crown to magnify yourself with, or a spade with which to dig. There are so many people in the Messianic, Nazarene, Hebrew roots movement that are becoming rabbis and Torah teachers just to elevate themselves, just so they can have a position of power and reputation. So as the scripture says, so that men can call them rabbis and recognize them in the streets and whatnot, They're doing it for power. They're doing it for control. They get a high off that power and control and how to control and manipulate other people by telling them what to do because they are the rabbi and they know the Torah like no one else. So don't make the Torah a crown to magnify yourself with or a spade to dig with. You know, some people use the Torah as a spade to dig with, and you know, I'm sure we can extrapolate many different interpretations and meanings of this particular phrase, a spade to dig with. But I think of somebody taking a spade and digging at somebody, using it in a negative way to hurt them, to harm them, to dig at them, to say you're not good enough, you still have work to do. So Hillel would say, one who make personal use of the crown of Torah shall perish. So these leaders are, you know, they may come on the scene and be in the spotlight and be bright and shining stars, but they're going to fizzle out like a shooting star really quick, right? You know, their personal agenda is going to catch up with them, and they're going to become nothing. Hence, one who benefits himself from the words of Torah removes his life from the world. You know, we're to elevate others with Torah, not elevate ourselves. In the process of elevating others, we will elevate ourselves. So it says that God gives grace to the humble, and he basically squashes and snuffs out the prideful. So if we are humble, God will exalt us in due time. We don't have to worry about that because it's all about him and for him anyway. It's not about us anyhow. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Shalom and Shavua Tov. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. And don't forget to check out and subscribe to our social media accounts on Instagram at AD_International, on Facebook at Abraham's Descendants International, on Twitter at ADINT Ministries, and on Blogger at Ray Bash's Ramblings. And don't forget to check out and bookmark our website, abrahamsdescendants.com. Shalom.